Hello everyone, this is Ninja Girl, Sakura1 here, back with another Yashahime Princess Half Demon review. This past weekend, we got Season 2, Episode 17, Akuru's Pinwheel, and it was a pretty good episode. There were definitely some moments that I personally loved in there. So yeah, good episode overall. It's setting up for the grand finale, because with the way things are shaping up, it doesn't look like we will be getting a Season 3 of Yashahime, which is a little sad, but it is what it is. And I'm going to enjoy Yashahime while I can, while it lasts. So yeah, let's go over everything that happened, shall we? So, remember at the end of the last episode, we saw Towa trying to absorb the dark purple evil Haku that was covering Sesshomaru and was eventually going to kill him. We saw her trying to absorb that through her sword, and we saw her collapse because it overwhelmed her. It seemed like she was dead. So yeah, and of course, Rin was horrified, Setsuna was panicking, and yeah, that's obviously where this episode picks up from. Towa is still on the ground, everyone's kind of freaking out, not knowing what to do, and I think it's Jokin who says that it seems that the Haku from Kirinmaru has overpowered her own energy, which I think is the equivalent of her soul, her life force energy, but I could be wrong. I'm terrible at this sort of thing, so yeah, either way. So yeah, that's the explanation as to what happened to her and why she's collapsed. So yeah, but Towa is not dead / unconscious for very long because Akuru then shows up and Setsuna can see him. Rin cannot, which makes sense because it's only people who have the dog demon blood flowing through them. That bloodline alone, that can see him. You know that. So, yeah, and he basically instantly revives Towa. So, yeah. She was not dead for long at all, and I figured as much. So, yeah. She's fine, everyone's pretty relieved. And, yeah. We then see Trikio show up and say that Akuru has chosen them to stop Kirinmaru and go back to the future, destroy the Grim Comet, and the foreign entity, Osamu Kirin, who is still in the future. So, yeah. And that they really need to go do this. And they agree. Towa and Setsuna agree. And Rin, as much she doesn't want to let Towa and Setsuna go, she does agree that they need to do this, that as the daughters of Sesshomaru, this is their duty. And even though she would love to hug them, she would love to reunite with them and reconnect, she knows that there isn't time for it right now. They have a mission they have to complete. And she tells them to come back alive, and that she and Sesshomaru want to give them a big hug when they get back. Which is very sweet, very adorable of Rin, and very strong of Rin to let her daughters go. Even though she doesn't want to, and she wants nothing more than to just hold them, because she never even had the chance to when they were babies, you know? Because Sesshomaru took them away so quickly. And speaking of that, she realizes that is why he took them away so soon. Because he kind of knew, I guess, that they had a grand destiny as their daughters. As Sesshomaru's daughters is what she says, but their daughters, you know? So yeah. And they Towa and Setsuna promise to come back alive and see her again as soon as possible. And yeah, poor Rin with tears in her eyes looks back at Sesshomaru, who is still laying there. We don't really know how he's doing yet. But yeah, she just looks back at him with tears in her eyes and said, "This was for the best, right, Lord Sesshomaru?" No. Poor Rin. I feel bad for her, because she's gotten a bit of a raw deal. She deserves to have her daughter. Hopefully that will still happen in the future. So yeah. And Towa and Setsuna go off, ready to go back to the future and hopefully take on Kirinmaru. By the way, Jokin, when they were wondering how on earth they were going to get to the future, Jokin said, "Oh, we can just go to her ladyships and use the windmill of time to do that. So yeah, they gotta go to their grandmother, basically. Meanwhile, while all this was going on, we had Moroha with Inuyasha and Kagome at the Bone Eater's well. And Kagome mentions, "Oh, Moroha, did you know that I actually came through this well from that other world?" And she freaks out. Moroha's like, "Whoa, really?" And she looks down and she can't believe it. So, that was adorable. And Kagome mentions that the well is a very special place for her and Inuyasha. And Moroha doesn't really know why. Moroha has no idea. But when she looks at her father, he just instantly, his face turns red. And he starts blushing and cannot say anything. He's just like, yeah, it's special, and, having fresh air is really great. It's, really great, you know? He's just, yeah. You know, it's just, he's thinking about all the times he and Kagome met there, and when he hugged her there early on in the series. And, you know, like, Return to Your Own Time, Kagome, that episode, he's got to be thinking of that when they finally reunited after 3 years. That could have been where Moroha was conceived. We have no idea. But that's fine. That's something personal between them, you know. But I found that very sweet and cute. And I'm sorry, I love Inuyasha as a dad. It's great. He's so sweet with Moroha. And he was already adorable with Kagome anyway. So it's just, I love it so much. So yeah. And then, Kagome, you noticed probably in the previous episode she had 2 bows. Well, she hands one to Moroha as a gift. And she explains that she made it from a strand of Inuyasha's gorgeous silver mane and stuff they found in her grandfather's grave. They decided to make it for her after they saw her the first time back in episode 4 of season 2. When they saw her falling in the sky. Going through the sky, you know. That's when they decided to finally make that for her because, well, they wanted to, and 2, they realized that the bow she was using must be way too small for her now. Because she's obviously grown up. So yeah. And Moroha is excited about it. She's grateful, she's happy. And she just smiles at her dad, and it's just so, so sweet. I love it so much. I seriously do. The family dynamic is perfect. And I need more of it. But if we're not getting a season 3, I'm gonna enjoy what we get. Either way. Just, it was so cute. Just, I love it. So yeah. But, unfortunately, Kirinmaru shows back up. And, yeah. Things are not good. But, of course, Inuyasha's there now, and he is willing to take Kirinmaru on. And he tries to tell Kagome and Moroha to hide and stay out of the way so they don't get hurt. But Kagome, of course, is like, no way. I'm not backing down. I'm gonna help you. And she tries to tell Moroha again to go hide, but she's like, Mom, Dad, I've gotten this far by not running away. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, the family stands their ground and go to fight Kirinmaru. And he's, of course, annoyed and pissed off. But, yeah. They start fighting. Inuyasha goes in with his wind scar, his backlash wave, his adamant barrage. Kagome goes in with her sacred arrow. It's very cool. And then we get a double sacred arrow attack with Moroha, Kagome, plus a wind scar. Or was it a backlash wave? I think it's backlash wave. We get a family attack with all of them, and it's glorious. I loved it so much, and it seems like they're already working completely in sync, despite being apart for 14 years. That's how good of a family this is. It was fantastic. I adored it. It was so cool. And Moroha's arrow, she fires another sacred arrow, and it's powerful enough that even Kirinmaru decides to dodge it, which he feels ashamed for. Because Moroha's a quarter demon, And yet, he felt threatened by her sacred arrow. So, wow. And I guess some people are a little annoyed that, wait a minute, how all of a sudden is Moroha this strong? We have to remember that the new bow she just got that she uses has hair from her father and his demonic powers and stuff from her grandfather's grave. So that's probably what kind of empowered her arrow. And yeah, it sort of makes sense, but if you have a problem with it, that's fine, I guess. But I think it works. Just the fact that it's made from that stuff, and also her flat out being encouraged by having her mom and dad with her. That probably helped too. So yeah. And her determination to never lose her family again. On top of all that. So yeah. I'm fine with it. I thought it was awesome. So yeah. Very cool. It was so awesome to see the family working together. Fighting. It was just awesome. I'm sorry. It just was. So yeah. But then Towa and Setsuna finally arrive at the battlefield, and they let Moroha know what they're planning to do. That they're planning to go to the future and stop Kirinmaru's plans. Although I think it was foolish to say this with Kirinmaru right there, where he could hear them, but it is what it is. So, yeah. And Moroha kind of wants to go with them, but she also doesn't want to leave her mom and dad. So, yeah. But Inuyasha says, it's fine. Go. They're your friends. Go help them. And, yeah. Only after that does Moroha agree to go. Especially after Akuru was tugging at her arm, trying to, you know, tell her to go with Towa and Setsuna, because they're going to need her. So, yeah. But it's only after Inuyasha's approval that Moroha decides to leave with them. So, yeah. And Inuyasha, of course, reassures her that they're gonna be fine. Don't worry. So, she goes off with Towa and Setsuna. But Kirinmaru tries to go after Moroha. But you know what? He has one thing standing in his way. Papa Mode Inuyasha. So he lowers his sword right in front of him. Is like, I won't let you lay a finger on my daughter. That's literally what he says. And I loved it. It was so awesome to hear that. Because, no, you are not laying a finger on his child. Inuyasha is here to stay. And he's not letting anyone hurt his daughter. Hell no. So yeah. Yeah. And the fight resumes with Kirinmaru. You know, but then we see Riku and Rion. And yeah, Riku is still fine, of course, and he acknowledges that the reason he's still alive must mean that Kirinmaru is not yet defeated. And Rion agrees, but we see she's getting weaker. She's like, she has labored breath, and yeah, something is definitely wrong. And then we see her lapse. Now, the reason for this is something that I thought of a while ago, and that's the fact that she doesn't have Soul Collector like Kikyo did. That was the reason Kikyo was able to keep moving and keep going the way she had. So yeah, Rion, her time is running out. Her body can't move on its own anymore. Riku starts kind of freaking out, and Kirinmaru sensed this. And even though he was in the middle of fighting Inuyasha, when he does, he goes straight to Rion. And shares some of his life energy with her. Some of his cone, I guess. So she can move again. So yeah. But Rion isn't exactly happy about it. Like, don't expect thanks for all this. And she still wants to stop him. And she starts walking away. So yeah. Rion is not happy at all with the situation. But yeah, she is at least able to move again. But Kirinmaru tries to stop her and Riku and tries to talk to them. But Riku's like, oh, sir, you must be joking. And he actually bows at him as he says this, which is kind of funny. But yeah. Kirinmaru says that he's planning on heading to the future soon. And wants her to go with him. But she, of course, doesn't want to. doesn't care and will stop him if she has her way. So yeah. That happened. Yeah. They are not on good terms at all, but that's to be expected. No? So yeah. But, with Kirinmaru having just left the battlefield, Inuyasha and Kagome are left there wondering what the heck happened. So, yeah. But then, Shippo takes them to Kaede's village and almost crashes into Kaede. Oh my gosh. But it's okay, she's okay. And Inuyasha and Kagome hop off. And Kaede is so surprised to see them again. And of course happy, but yeah. Kagome then instantly decides to warn her to evacuate the village, get the people to safety because something bad is about to happen. And Kaede's like, what, another war? You know, like what happened with Naraku. And Kagome's like, no. Something worse might be happening, so you need to try and prepare here. So yeah. Inuyasha and Kagome are finally back in Kaede's village. And yeah, they're trying to prepare everyone for whatever Kirinmaru is going to do. So, yeah. And then we see Sango finally go get Tamaroku. And even though his training is not finished, he says that helping out to try and get rid of Kirinmaru is a great way to finish off his training. So, yeah. And Sango's in her demon slaying gear. She looks epic, especially with her new black Hidai coats. It's awesome. So, yeah. And as they're walking away, they were gonna get on Hachi, because he's there with them. Or he was there with Sango. And Moroku's like, so, how are the kids doing? And he goes to grope her ass. Typical Moroku. You know. But at least they're married, you know? But nonetheless, Sango still slaps him. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess the kids are great. The kids are fine. Yeah. And yeah, that's the last we see of Sango Moroku. And we also see Kohaku and Hisui and his demon slaying clan, his group. And they're back with Princess Aya and her father. And they actually tried to give Kohaku the Kikijumonji, which is the sword Towa had at the very beginning of the series. And, you know, they found out about Kirinmaru, and the Lord wants them to try and stop him. But even Kohaku can admit that as good as him and his demon slayers are, they can't take on Kirinmaru. But yeah. So they initially decide to not take the sword, not take the Lord up on his offer for help. But eventually Hisui whispers to Kohaku that Setsuna told him that Towa has kind of a connection to the Kikijumonji, so that they should take it. So Kohaku ends up doing so, and that's the last we see of them. And finally, back in the modern era, Kagome's grandmother is looking at the sacred tree. And he can sense something is really wrong. He can sense dangerous, eerie shadows coming from the tree. He can tell something is up. And there's police sirens going off. There seems to be more, like, strange things going on around town. And, yeah, we see Mei getting ready to go to a friend's house. Yeah. And she's warned to be careful by her grandmother, Kagome's mother. So, yeah. And Kagome is wondering if Towa and Kagome are okay, but they of course have no idea. They have no real way to tell. They can just hope that everything is alright. But yeah. On the way out though, Mei runs across someone Kirin on her way to her friends. And she just says hello, he says hello, and it's just a nice casual quick hi and goodbye. But then he thinks to himself that he doesn't want to see innocent people like Mei be killed by the grim comet that he can see looming right above, right there in the sky. So yeah, maybe Osamu Kirin's not pure evil. He may not want any of this. So yeah, and he apparently follows and watches Mei, and when demon crows, the same demon crows that were the reason the sacred jewel was destroyed at the very beginning of the entire story, those have started appearing in the modern era. They should have disappeared years ago, thousands of years ago. But they were there in the modern era thanks to this comet and I guess maybe him being around. And they almost attacked Mei and her friends. But somehow, Samukiden, I guess, has this power being a part of Kirinmaru that he's able to get rid of them. So yeah. And he just again states that he really doesn't want to see people that are innocent get killed. And I guess doesn't really know what to do about it, but he just knows that he really doesn't want that to happen. He might not be pure evil, who knows? So, yeah, but that's where the episode ends, with Samukiden not really wanting to see the current future era, our present, be completely destroyed. So, yeah. And the girls, they're off to Shomaru's mother's place to use the Windmill of Time, because they have been chosen by Akuru. Inuyasha and Kagome are in Kaede's village, trying to get everyone to safety because they know something bad is about to happen. And, yeah, Kirinmaru's getting ready to go to the future himself. Brandis and Shomaru are still in the Tree of Ages, hoping that their daughters come back alive. We still don't know if Shomaru is going to live or not. We have no idea. I'm gonna hope he does, especially for the girls' sake and Rin's. So, yeah. That's where it all ends. That's where things stand as of right now. So, things are heating up. Oh, and of course, we can't forget Song of Moroku. They're gonna be heading toward the battlefield. Oh, I can't wait to see them reunite with Inuyasha and Kagome. The whole gang back together. It's gonna be so good. But yeah. That's where everything ends. So, good episode. Like I said, it's setting things up for the grand finale. I'm going to assume series finale at this point because we've had no news or hints for a third season, and just with the way things are, I don't think there will be. Because what else is there left to do? Inuyasha and Kagome are free from the Black Pearl. Song and Moroku are about to rejoin the team at some point soon. You know, the girls know about Osamu Kinen, they know about the comet and all that stuff, so I don't see a third season happening. If it does, great. I'll welcome it happily, but as of right now, no. So yeah, I think that will do it for this review though. Good episode. I really did enjoy it, especially the family attack. The family dynamic, again, it's just perfect for me. I love it so much. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like, share it around if you want. If you want to follow me on Twitter, where I talk about Yashahime sometimes, or support the channel on Patreon, both links will be in the video description below. And yeah, next episode, things are probably going to heat up even more. And it's titled The Collapse of the Windmill of Time. So, oh boy, let's see what happens, shall we? But until then, I will see you guys later.